welcome to Flock Talk episode 22. Today we're going to be talking about couch co-op games. Should be a good time. So today we're going to be talking about couch co-op games, but before that we got some hot topics to cover.
Hot topics.
So, Kathryn, you played this new game. It's called Letter Quest Remastered.
We both played it. So I actually think
What is this game called?
it's called Letter Quest, and
Letter Quest.
I don't know if it was free or just really cheap. It must have
Either
been.
it was really cheap or it was a PS Plus game at some point, and it was cross-buy with the Vita. I think that's what happened.
But we haven't played it on the Vita. But anyway, it's just like a word game. It kind of looks like it was probably a mobile game to start with or something. Like, it's very simple. But basically, you just start, you're like, I don't even know, you're like a little guy and
You
you're...
look like the Grim Reaper.
Yeah, and you're going through, it's just like a dungeon crawler, but the way you fight is by making words that are, like, it's essentially it's not like Boggle because the letters don't have to connect, but there's a Boggle-like board, and you have to create words using those letters.
And they have Scrabble points, right? So, like, a J is worth more than an E or an S.
Yeah.
Right.
And so when you first play it, like, it's just an overworld map where you just kind of fight your way through, like, level 1, level 2, level 3. Each one is kind of like a little dungeon, so there'll be, like, a monster, and you just fight it with words. The monster doesn't also create words, they just hit you. You create words that attack the monster.
Yeah, it's almost like a turn-based RPG, but instead of, like, using spells in your attack, you actually just spell words for your turn. And then...
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then you can upgrade your weapons, you can get a bunch of different, like, feats and special abilities. You get, like, a bonus that lets you see the monster's health. What else?
Yeah, it didn't. You can the number of health potions that you carry, and you also have health potions. And then, the monster sometimes will attack the board. It'll lock down some letters, or it'll put spikes on some letters. So if you use those letters, you'll take damage. Like it ends up being like kind of layered. Like they have a lot. There's a lot more to it than just like creating the best word. Because then, as you get through the game, we discovered. It kind of looked like every level you could see that there were 4 stars that you could earn on every level. And we would keep playing and playing and we're like, oh, I can't get better than 1 star. And then we realized it's because every star is a different way to play that level. So you actually have to switch the mode. And so there's a mode that's just a timed mode. So for every level, you can switch it so that you have a time limit and you have to finish the level before the time runs out. And then there's the third level is like a special monster mode. So the enemies that you face will have different conditions on them. So like some of them only take damage if the word starts with a vowel, or they take triple damage if you use a Y or stuff like that, right? So they all have these like different conditions. And then the 4th star for every level only unlocks if you've finished the first 3. It just unlocks basically a hard mode, right? Like all the monsters have more health or something.
All the monsters have more health, deal more damage, and they all have special conditions.
Yeah. So it's actually a pretty deep game. Like, it's kind of have to replay every level if you want to earn enough stars or a lot of stars, but you don't really need to finish the game. Like, you could just 1 star every level and just finish the game.
Chris, let me tell you something. This is the only game ever that both Kathryn and I 100% completed it separately.
That's already something, because I can't be bothered ever to 100% anything.
We 4-starred every single level separately. We weren't sharing an account. We did it at the...
What's this game called?
Letter?
You versus the words?
Spelling bee.
Boggle board. No.
It's called Letter Quest Remastered.
Is it any good, though? Because I don't know from your description.
It's so addictive.
It's good if you like word games. Like, it's just like a word jumble game kind of thing. And it's surprisingly addictive. Like, it's relaxing to play. Like, you're never in any real like you rarely die. It's definitely the only game where, yeah, for sure, where Myles and I started 2 different save files because we didn't want to advance the other person's game. Like, there's something about, you know, achieving it on your own. And and Myles, like, he would never ever go back. Like, there's no game where he plays every level 4 times except for this one, right? And
I felt like the levels were short enough. They were like bite-sized levels.
yeah, because even in times mode, like you get like 6 minutes.
Yeah,
maybe
6 minutes is like the longest they give you.
Yeah, so it's really consumable and easy, and there's a lot to be said for the leveling up of your weapon and stuff like that. Like
I had this perk where every time I spelled a letter with QUA, starting with QUA, it was like 10 times the damage.
That sounds like a quality upgrade.
Yeah, it sure was a quail of a...
oh, no.
Yeah.
Nice try. You win this round, Chris. So you could unlock just items like potions and things like health potions and stuff like that. You unlock certain persistent things, like you'll always see how much damage the monster is going to deal on its next turn, right? Like, that's something that you unlock. But then you also unlock these books that you equip. So depending on which book you have equipped, you have different abilities. So Myles was using the one where you deal extra damage if your words start with QUA. I used
a couple health upgrades.
Yeah, there were health ones. There were some, like, a lot of them were extra damage. There's also, like, just like any dungeon, you could come across a treasure chest. And then what that was essentially like a game of hangman, where you would just see all the letters. You would have the keyboard. And so then you could unlock some books that gave you an advantage, like 3 extra guesses when you play the hangman game or whatever. So there was a lot more to the game than you realize until you start playing it. And you're like, man, there's a lot to this game.
Let me ask you another question. Did you ever have to fight a duck?
No.
Did it quack?
Oh,
I see.
There you go.
You spelled quack.
You would have dealt a lot of damage there, Chris.
Tons of damage.
But also, like, it's a game that, like, because Myles usually gets home like maybe a half hour before I do, and I'd come home and he's already, or I'm at work and he messages me from home saying, I'm already playing Letter Quest, like, and then he goes to bed before I do. So then when he goes to bed, then I would play Letter Quest. Like, it was, and then sometimes it was just like, you play Letter Quest, I don't feel like doing anything, so you play. And I'll just, like, you know,
I'll watch you play Letter Quest,
and also, like, just hang out on my phone or whatever, check Twitter and things like that.
I used to ask Kathryn to play Letter Quest all the time.
It sounds like this is a bright, shining star in the night sky, giving off a lot of radiation, almost like a quasar.
Oh. Yes, Chris, you would be very good at this game. We understand that.
That is a quality pun.
Hey.
Anyway, so that was kind of like, we both played that. We both, we beat it within like a day of each other, I think.
This podcast is going to turn into a real quagmire.
Oh, I never got to spell quagmire.
We never did.
It was hard. You got to get a lot of letters for that one.
Yeah, and you almost need a 4th person in order to make this a quad podcast.
Oh,
we spelled quad a lot. All right.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to go quartet.
Also, we learned that just QUA is also just a word. So that if you just wanted to deal the damage and you had nothing else, you could just put QUA.
I think it means like as or like.
Is that what that means?
Yeah.
Oh, look at you.
Look at that.
We're learning. Oh, but that's the other thing. Like, it also, if the word was registered in the game or something, they would actually have a definition of the word if you spelt it.
Oh, cool.
Like when you sometimes it would be like, oh, no definition found, but most words had a definition. So we were learning. We were learning stuff as well. It's a great game.
What was that word that meant a gossipy woman?
Oh, I don't know. Why are you asking me? I don't remember.
We kept spelling this one word that meant gossipy woman. And I was like, I've never heard of that before. Anyway, Chris, the only thing that would make LetterQuest better would be if it was in VR. You know? Because of VR, it's pretty good, right? And you would know.
It was my birthday recently, and I got one of those fancy VR headsets for the Sony PlayStation.
That's so
I
exciting.
did not get one of the ones that you need to like do anything else. My computer, my PC right now is hanging on by a thread, so it would, if I tried to plug in like VR into it, it would just melt into a little puddle.
It'd be like, Chris, what are you doing, Chris? I
What
can't
do you
handle
think this
VR.
is, Chris? Take the plug out, Chris. I'm slowly losing my mind, Chris.
What a quandary.
Okay,
this
no,
is.
we're past that now.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
What have we done?
Yeah, I got a VR headset for the PlayStation 4. The demo disc that comes with it, I'd say 60% just the garbage.
Oh, okay.
60% games, mostly unplayable, I think. But there are a few good games on that demo disc. I think I got the second demo disc. I think there was a first demo disc, and they were on season 2 of the demo discs. So it had Moss on it. It had Thumper, both of which were really cool.
Yeah.
There was a game with dinosaurs and
Color a dinosaur.
cowboys.
Dinosaurs versus Cowboys. That was that movie with that guy in it.
It was impenetrable as a game.
Oh, okay.
And then there's all the ones where you need like multiple joysticks, the Move controllers.
Do you have the Move controllers?
Yeah, I have 2. Surprisingly, they're upstairs. I got them. There's 2 of them.
Did it come with them?
No, we just had them because we used to do some of these PlayStation Move games.
Oh, yeah,
that's so awesome.
Same with us. We just used our PlayStation 3 one.
Because those went way up in price when VR came out.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Just to get like a pair of those is like $80 now.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And it's the same ones.
For like things that only half work half the time.
Yeah.
Right? Because like maybe you've moved your hand slightly into the position where like the camera can no longer register that your hand is straight, so your hand's doing this freaky wrist thing. Okay, VR. During Moss, I was like, what is this magical realm I've entered?
Yeah.
This is lovely.
It's so
How
great.
amazing was Moss, right?
The demo of Moss was great. I was like, I want to play all of Moss. There's one game I want to get. I cannot believe that there was only Eve Valkyrie, but there wasn't any other flying game. But Eve Valkyrie, the 1.5 minutes of Eve Valkyrie you get to play were crazy.
Did you play on Star Wars Battlefront? There's
No, I haven't done that yet. I have not.
That's the game for you.
I know, right?
You're gonna love that. You're gonna fly around X-wing shooting things.
Yeah, it's a fun mission.
Have you guys tried the Eve Valkyrie demo?
No.
Okay, try it out, because it's probably about the same thing.
Okay.
I can imagine. Yeah.
I liked it. Miles didn't even play the Battlefront one, but
I was watching.
He saw me play, and it's a fun mission.
No, I played.
Did
I
you
played
play
after
it?
you.
Yeah, you did. Okay, never mind.
And Nina got me Doom, so I played probably the first 2.5 hours of Doom. It is hard.
You gotta get used to the movement. The movement is really weird, right? So like,
but it does not ease you into it.
No.
Like that. Not the first battle, but the second battle is like, yeah, you might have to do this 3 or 4 times, but before you really get the hang of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta speed around. Like they throw beholders at you real quick.
Yeah, right away.
Like basically right away, you're fighting beholders in Doom VR.
I haven't got sick. It seems good. I need more games.
Keep in mind,
the games all seem like they're 20 minutes long,
which is fine because it's a shorter experience, right? Like I want a shorter experience from VR games.
Oh, but the thing is, like, the one that I think would be kind of fun to try is the Bridge Crew, the Star Trek Bridge Crew.
Yes.
But I think it's really expensive. Like, it seems...
It's so expensive.
Is it?
Yeah.
It goes on sale all the time, though.
Oh, okay. Because I was curious about it, but I was like, I don't want to play with people because I don't know or like Star Trek that much. I just think it looks like kind of a fun thing to try out. And it seems like a little expensive for just a game that I might play once or twice or something. But
yeah, we'll have to wait to get it.
Yeah.
Because it's a little expensive. It's like $50. It goes on sale pretty often for half price. So most of the time it's about $20.
that's not too bad. I would pay that.
No, it's fine.
It reminds me of Sea of Thieves, like the idea of just running a ship together, you know?
Right.
Yeah, I could see that.
There is another game I want to get. I think it's called something to do with Sky or Pilot. I really should have looked it up. This is the professionalism that this show...
Was it Sky Pilot? It was Sky Pilot, wasn't it?
Is that in
I think it's called Sky Pilots, and you're just flying around, and you get, like, different...
Oh, no, I know that one. It's called Pilot Skies.
Oh, the skies of the Pilot.
Yeah, Pilot
quality
Skies.
game.
All right. Well, that sounds good. Is it just flying a plane?
It's a lot like the SNES game Pilot Wings.
Okay.
But you're flying the plane.
Huh.
Which I think like a legitimately longer than a minute and a half flying game would be really cool on VR. Like I could use a flying game. That is what I want next.
So the game that you need to find, it's getting harder and harder to find in VR right now, is called PlayStation VR Worlds. It's very similar to a demo disc, except it has different experiences in it, and they're kind of like full experiences. So there's the Heist, which a lot of people say is like one of the best VR experiences, where you're in a car and you're a driver, and then you're shooting out of the car, and it's just like a full-on heist. And the Shark Cage, where you're in a cage and you go underwater and there's a shark.
Yeah, and I think Musty was saying, or someone was saying, that the Heist is being turned into like a full game now, which I think is kind of cool. Like, I don't... That's the thing with VR. Like, how long can the games be, really? Because how long can you be expected to use the headset and stuff? Right?
Yeah, exactly. Because you're pretty isolated from everybody in the room with you when you're wearing the headset.
Oh, yeah.
It's immersive. You're in there.
If Doom wasn't, say, as intense as it was, I probably would have played it for longer than I think I had a session that was about an hour long with Doom. And now it's getting harder and harder to justify getting back into it because I'm like, it's so hard. I don't want to die over and over again.
You can do it, man.
The loading screens are just a little bit too long
Chris,
when you die.
just finish one game. That's all we're asking.
Honestly, like it took me like maybe 6 hours to finish Doom VFR.
Yeah. I get it. I'm there. I'll do it.
But speaking to the immersiveness of it, I watched this YouTube video, and then were you watching it too, Miles, about the Tetris Effect?
Oh, yes.
Oh, my God. So it was really cool. So have you heard of the Tetris Effect? The game that's coming out?
The new game.
Yeah, the new Tetris. And then there's a VR version of it or whatever.
For PSVR.
And so I wish I knew the guy's name, but some company got the game in advance, and they invited this guy who like essentially is like one of the best. Like all he does is exclusively play original Tetris, right? He helped start the Tetris World Championships and stuff like that. And like the only version of Tetris he ever plays is just original NES Tetris. And so they brought him to try out. They had to explain to him how the PlayStation controller, like all the buttons and stuff like that, like 'cause he's never ever even touched a PlayStation controller before.
He was at the Nintendo Championships in like 1990 playing Tetris.
When he was a kid. That's how he got into it, because he wanted to do really well at the Nintendo World Championships when he was like a little kid. And so he practiced Tetris a lot and then just became completely addicted. So he's playing this Tetris Effect, and there is some kind of like crazy mode that you get to where it essentially allows you to bank lines. So whereas in the original Tetris, you would just like a Tetris is just 4 lines at once. In Tetris Effect, the best you can do is something like 12 lines, I think, or 16.
I think it's 16.
16 lines. If you activate the special mode, and it kind of allows you, it puts you in this like weird trancey state, and you kind of like bank all the lines as you get them. And
so basically
that's some crazy quadruplication.
So basically you're dropping blocks and you're scoring the lines, but it doesn't resolve until like the time stoppage starts again.
Oh, okay,
and then
yeah.
all the lines
Okay.
resolve at the same time.
Yeah, and so you're trying to get as many as you can, and I think the highest you can get is 16. And they got really close, and this guy tried, and he got like really close. He got like 12 or 14 lines or something when he was playing it regularly, and they were like, "Oh, this guy might actually be able to do it." Like the people who made the video had the demo of the game or like an advanced copy of the game for a while, and they never got close. And this guy got pretty close, but then he asked if he could try it in VR, and so he played it in VR and then actually got better at the game when he was playing it in VR.
Oh.
Like he was so much better in VR and then actually got the 16 lines, and everyone was watching like, "Oh my god, I can't believe he's going to do it." So they talk about the VR headset afterwards because the guy was like trying to figure out, like, he kind of has a theory that VR, when you're just playing a regular VR game, you don't really feel so immersed into it. But in games like, and he said Thumper was one of them and Tetris Effect being the other, where instead it makes you focus more because of when the screen is just being used as your screen, right? And it's right in your face. You have your headphones on, so you're not distracted by any outside noises, that you become hyper focused on the game that you're playing. So he's like, I don't have anything to back this up, but it's kind of like his theory that that's a kind of like a byproduct of playing in VR. I
think his words were exactly, VR is like headphones for your eyes.
Okay, like it's a quantifiable difference.
All right. Yes, it is. But yeah, so it was just like a really interesting thing to see, and I'm really excited to play Tetris Effect because I love Tetris. And I kind of thought it was weird to have a VR version of it, but it really is just having the screen take up your full vision, right? It's not like the pieces are 3D and floating or anything, right? Unless there is a mode like that as well. But it looks like a really good game, so that's actually a VR game that I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, and I don't even think that's going to be a full price game. I think that's going to be like a $40 game. I don't have too much to add, Chris. I've been playing a few games. Well, I'm going to talk a little bit more about Overcooked 2 in our main topic. But we played, or I was playing Call of Duty Black Ops 3.
Oh.
Because it was a free game. And it was the first, I haven't finished it yet, but it's going to be the first Call of Duty that I finished since the first Call of Duty for PC.
I have a bunch of quandaries about this.
So
how do you like it?
It's fine. It's just target practice, the game. I'm surprised a little bit. Have you played any of these Black Ops games?
I think I played Black Ops 1.
Okay.
I think I had it.
So I was surprised by how similar Black Ops 3 was to The Evil Within. It's super weird where you have this ability. It's in the future, so we're all going to have this ability in the future where we touch somebody's face and we get their memories.
Oh, right. That ability. That's coming.
You know how the scientists are working on it.
You know what? Every day there's a new thing.
There's a new thing every day. So this is going to be a new thing one day. Basically, the last 2 hours of the game that I played was you take over somebody's mind and they're remembering all of these epic battles, and you just get transferred to these epic battles that the person wasn't even a part of. So they're like, oh, I remember hearing about a tale of courage from World War II. And then you just go to World War II and you're fighting in this battle.
Can you just hear about a World War II battle, and then that makes you somehow qualified to go into World War II battles?
With your current armor, like your weapons from today.
It's ridiculous.
Why did you start playing it? Was it a free
It was a free game. I remember when E3 happened, PlayStation was just like, just take this.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because they're going to do Black Ops 4, which today I got an invite to interview the developers for Black Ops 4 at Fan Expo 2018.
Good for you.
Did you get passes?
I didn't get passes yet, but I got an email that said that I can book a slot to interview the developers for Black Ops 4.
You should do that, but you should ask them all about games that aren't Black Ops 4.
Yeah. I actually just think I'm going to delegate that task to Chris. I think Chris is going to interview the Black Ops 4 people.
Hey, so you guys are developing video games? You like them?
Oh, you ever think of doing one with a guy and he's got a sword on both hands? 2 hands, 2 swords.
You ever thought of making a video game that was a good video game?
Oh,
Hey, have you ever heard of this game? It's called Amadeus. All you gotta...
no.
Oh, man.
So yeah, okay. So I played that.
We gotta quash this quickly.
And I've been playing the Nonnery Games Part 2, which is Virtue's Last Reward. I just started it.
What is this? What is this? The Nonna games? Hey, you come here, play my game with me.
No, I haven't washed my hands before dinner.
You wash your hands before dinner. I'm Nonna. These are my games.
Oh boy.
So no, it is a like survival horror
Visual
game
novel.
that's also tied into a visual novel.
That sounds terrible.
You don't have to keep doing the Nona.
Oh, no, Nonna's here now.
Okay, Nona, I've been playing this game. Nona,
Oh, you need to eat your food. Not play games.
this game, I'm stuck in this elevator and I don't know how to get out. I gotta solve a puzzle, Nona. What should I do?
Oh, give it to me. Give it to me. I do it for you. Then you come eat. Enough. Enough of this.
Oh boy.
Garbage.
Nona, you're not playing the game. You're just throwing it in the garbage.
It's going in the garbage. Stupid thing. Stupid thing. You read a book.
This is reminding me a lot of my childhood.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so I've been playing Nonnery Games. It's been pretty good so far. The puzzles that I solved were reasonable. I like some of the characters. There's an android. There's like a robot. I don't know if he's a real robot, but we're going to find out. It's a good game. And Kathryn helps me with the puzzles.
No, I haven't even seen you play it.
You helped me with the first game of the puzzles. I only played like one room so far. You're going to probably have to help me with the other rooms.
Kathryn is going to help me with the
Yeah,
puzzles.
that's what I meant.
Okay.
There's no need to quarantine yourself.
We should have never told him about LetterQuest.
I'm LARPing LetterQuest now.
That's it for Hot Topics. We're going to move over to our main topic, which is couch co-op games.
This is Player One of the Cartridge Club, and I wanted to take a second to tell you about Bonus Barrel. BB is made up of developers, artists, and testers from within the gaming world, and they bring their knowledge and insight to every show. Topics ranging from gaming culture to development cycles, you don't want to miss what these insiders have to say. Every Wednesday, you can get your fill of Rob, Seiji, Lef, and Shelby wherever you listen to podcasts.
So when this podcast started, we went to a place called Power Up Games, and we played Overcooked for the very first time. It was like a barcade. And
Yeah, we talked about it on this podcast, right?
Chris, do you remember that?
I remember it, but deep in my memory. It's such a long time ago.
And Overcooked was probably our favorite game that we played that year, unless that was the year that Overwatch came out, in which case that was our favorite game. But Overcooked still held a special place in all of our hearts, and we went on to beat that game. All three of us played through that entire game.
Not together, not all together. You got it separately from us.
Right, and I finished games. I finished Overcooked.
You finished Overcooked.
And so Overcooked...
Did you 3-star every level?
If I didn't, it was only 2 or 3
okay.
of the really hard ones near the end.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. But we recently picked up Overcooked 2. They came out with it on Switch, Xbox, and PS4, and I think PC.
Yep.
And they came out this time with full release, like physical release, at the same time as the digital release. And
it is amazing.
It's very good. Chris, it's better than the original.
It's good. It's good so far. I like in the first...
We're going to talk about the first world, basically, and we're not going to spoil too much later on in the game.
Yes.
The sushi is so good. Making the sushi is so satisfying.
Yeah, but also, so the basic mechanics of the game, basically it's the same. It's still, you learn a little recipe. You got to cook your raw veggies, or you got to cut them up before you can cook them, and you have to combine them in a very specific way before you can serve them, and you have to put them on a plate. But they added a new mechanic in this, which is throwing the food. And
now you can only throw food if it's raw.
Raw. So you can throw raw uncooked food or raw cooked food. I don't think I ever threw...
You can't throw raw cooked food.
I mean,
because that's not
raw
anymore.
raw cut food.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I ever threw raw cut food.
I did. We did.
You did?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever
There
did.
was one stage where only some of us had access to cutting
Oh,
boards.
yeah. Yeah. So, and the level designs, they get pretty intricate. I think that's kind of like, that's one thing I don't really want to spoil, because that's kind of a lot of the fun of the game is just seeing what they come up with next every level. It's like, what's this one going to be? And what's going to be the trick to this kitchen? Because there's always a little trick.
We couldn't figure out throwing. Like, we haven't figured out throwing yet. We're probably on zone 1-4, but we did the first hidden level.
Yeah.
The Kevin level.
Yeah, we did the first hidden level without throwing anything.
Oh, wow. That's pretty good.
And we 3-starred that last night.
Yeah. So I think that's the other thing. Like, and it's not much of a spoiler. It's just that there's more to do in the overworld than the first one, which was nothing, right? Like, there was nothing you can do in that overworld. Yeah. They've made this overworld, the map of the places to go and the levels, a little bit more interactive, and you can kind of like drive all around it and try to unlock some things. But also, like, it's never clear how something unlocks. Like, all of a sudden it's there or it's not, right?
The hidden level that we found seemed to be busy work to make it a heavy...
Yeah.
To make it a hidden level.
The hidden level, the first hidden level is mostly to prove to you that there are hidden levels.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then later on, the second hidden level is also probably going to be pretty easy to unlock. But later on, the hidden levels are like, whoa, I haven't seen a hidden level in like 3 worlds, you know?
Yeah, it's not clear. And like, for sure, the first one, it's like, hey, if you drive around, like, there's hidden things in this place, right? Because before there wasn't. And so they want to make sure that you actually go around looking for stuff, right? So,
cool. Okay.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of like how it was designed. But there's also like...
Wait. Have you guys finished this game already?
Uh-huh.
Not only that, we've 3-starred every level except the hidden levels.
Yeah, we haven't done all the hidden levels. We wanted to save ourselves something, right? So, because you don't understand how much we love this game, like, and it's why we wanted to do couch co-op so we could mostly talk about Overcooked 2. But it's like, honestly, like, when we played the Overcooked 1 with you in the bar, that was like the most fun I'd had playing a multiplayer game, like, partially because you were goofing around and yelling at us or whatever, like the Italian chef yelling, but also because the game itself is just like, the concept is so basic and simple, but adding multiplayer, like, as soon as you're playing with other people in this kitchen, it becomes like, it's a puzzle game as well. Like, you have to, it's a strategy game, a puzzle game. You really have to think about it. You can't just like goof around the whole time, right? If you want a 3-star, like, you could probably get by. But there were some levels that were so hard, like Myles and I were struggling even just to get 1 star on them.
Although sometimes you'll be like struggling, like, how do you do this? But then you'll see one thing and you break that whole level wide open.
Oh yeah, Myles had some really good
stars. So like at one point it was like, what if the first thing we do is switch a pan for a pot? And that level got broke wide open.
Right, because like, it's just trying to figure out the logistics of whatever barriers they put in the kitchen that you're playing, right? And you really, like, there are times like, this is almost how we always play we'll play the level, we'll inevitably fail the first time, and then we don't even start again. We just sit and look each other. I'm like, okay, so if the meat is over there and the veggies over there and you start on that side and we're separated, like, we just sit and we talk about the kitchen. Like, we're a little too into this game. Like, we'll just like talk out a plan. We're like, okay, let's try this.
Like a bunch of diagrams.
It's like I'm like a football coach. All right, so when this thing happens,
she's got pie charts.
But like,
do you guys also do the frustrated, like, this is your fault? No, this is your fault.
No,
you are the reason.
No, never.
Good for you guys.
Instead, what we do is go, oh, I'm sorry, that was my fault. And then she goes, no, I'm sorry, that was my fault. That was me. And then I'm like, no.
No, this makes us sound like we don't. We definitely get frustrated, but it's mostly just
never at each other.
No. So Myles doesn't have.
I never get upset at Kathryn. Maybe I should just say that.
Oh,
No, I get more.
Are you guys
I'm
quarreling?
I am more of a defeatist than Myles is, right? So like if we play like 6 times and we can't even get 1 star, I'm just like, what are we doing wrong? Like, we're never gonna be able to do this. And Myles is just like, no, we just gotta keep trying. Like, how about, like, what do we need to do to fix this? Like, where does it all go wrong? And I'm like, I get really mad at myself. I'm like, the thing that I can't stand is when you want to put like a tomato on a cutting board, but you keep accidentally putting it beside the cutting board. Do you ever like, and it's just not like, you're just not.
It's like the equivalent of tilting in Overcooked is when you just keep you keep picking up the fire extinguisher instead of the onion. Like that's
no, if you have to pick up the fire extinguisher, press the reset button.
That would have been true in the first one. Let me tell you.
Oh, maybe not true in the second one.
Not to be spoilery, but like
there's at least one level.
There is strategy where like you kind of feel like, oh, there's no way we can avoid this. So you kind of have to be ready for different things than you were ready for, like in the first one, right? Like they do a really good job of making it challenging in different ways. And so it is a lot of like, okay, what's the best way to do this? And like there are just some times where like we fail so hard, let's just plan our first 4 moves, and then if we can nail those first 4 moves,
yes,
let's see how much more we can do after that without planning, right? Because it just becomes like one of the hardest things that we find is who's actually looking at the orders, right? Like I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna cut a bunch of onions or whatever, right? And then we realize, oh, we just made a whole bunch of burgers, but the first order is like for a salad or something, right? We're like, we weren't looking. It became, for me, because I'm such a control freak, just like, okay, you're going to look at the thing and you're going to, we're going to yell out what we're doing, but also you can only do that and I can only do this. And like, it just becomes a little bit nutty. But at the same time, we would go from like not even being able to get 1 star to then 3-starring it on
there were definitely levels that we played that we barely got 1 order in.
Yeah.
Like the first time playing, it was just like, where is the place to deliver the food? We don't
even know oh my god, we have to wash dishes? This is ridiculous. But also like we would talk about it too. There are just some times where we're just like, that felt so good. Like when we finished, we're like 100% we got 3 stars. Like but the thing is like we are dead silent when that happens. We don't say a word to each other. We're just like a machine, and we're just like, we're
just wizard zoning it.
Wizard mode,
yeah, wizard mode. The thing that I really like about part 2 over part 1 is that when you're on a streak and you're doing really well, on the bottom left-hand corner, your orders or
where the amount of
money
is.
No, where the amount of money you've made.
Yeah.
It goes on fire. You're doing so well.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
and that feels good.
Yeah.
That's so satisfying. Yeah, sure, you've seen it. You didn't know it existed until we mentioned. You haven't seen it.
Every
time I play the game, the computer's on fire. Listen, I play this game in a way that is quality over quantity.
So you never 3-star. I'm just kidding.
So you just make 1 real good dish.
I do so well, I quad star.
Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like this is my favorite couch co-op game.
Same.
Like I can't, like, and even we just played like maybe 2 or 3 levels, and we just looked at each other and we were like, this game, we love this game. Like, I love this game. Can I pre-order Overcooked 3 now, please? Because we didn't pre-order Overcooked 2, and it was like my fault because I didn't nag Myles enough to pre-order it. And we didn't get the unicorn chef. There was a special unicorn chef that you could get if you pre-ordered.
And then I went into the EB Games and I was like, hey, how about that unicorn chef, huh? You know what I'm talking about. I slipped them a $5 bill just under my hand. And they were like, nope, the unicorn chef pre-order code only prints on receipts that have pre-ordered the game. And I was like, oh, is that how it's going to be then?
So you absolutely can't get this thing? You had to
can't.
have pre-ordered it?
Yeah.
No. Maybe I'll ask the guys who made it. They're so nice, it seems. I don't really care, but it is fun to like unlock new chefs. Like They do. Like
There's so many chefs in this one.
the characters' designs are so cute. Like we won't spoil anything. We want it to be a surprise, but like it's just all these little things that are really fun. And so now we haven't tried it, but there is a multiplayer online mode
And an arcade mode.
and a versus mode. There's you can make a private online game. So at some point, you, Nina, and we will set up a private room and we can play a kitchen together. I think that would be fun. But also, so now each character has like, it's kind of like an Overwatch where you can do different emotes if you're communicating to other online players and stuff like that. But
Right.
we haven't tried any of the online stuff. And I honestly, like, I wasn't like super excited about that, but
But to play with people you know.
yeah, like we would play a room with you and Nina for sure.
Right, of course.
But yeah, I'm not interested in like, but I started making jokes like, oh my God, if there was like a professional Overcooked league, like we should be part of it. We're so good. And then we play the next level and it kicks our butt. And we were like, okay, no,
And
we're
then Kat was
terrible.
like, we should quit.
We're so
Never
bad
gonna
at
play
this
another
game.
level again.
I'm like super bipolar when I play Overcooked. And we're like, we're the best there ever was. But,
Ah,
oh man, this game is
as long
garbage.
as you don't get quashed, you're okay.
Yeah, all right. But what are other like co-op?
So this is basically Overcooked 2, the podcast.
But there are
Yeah.
other ones. Like at that
Yeah.
same bar,
Yeah.
we played
Lovers.
Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time. And I like recommending that to people, except for it's really difficult with only 2 people, right? So
It is. You
You
need
need-
like 3 or 4.
you need 3 or 4 just because it's like, I mean, if you haven't seen it, it's just like you're controlling a spaceship, and so one person has to like control the thrusters and one person controls the shield and one person shoots the guns, and then there's another station. Is it steering? Is steering a station? I can't remember. I thought thrusting was
Thrusting is basically the steering.
yeah.
And then there's the
Yeah.
shields and the guns.
It's been a while
There's
since we played.
3 or 4 guns.
Oh yeah. And then every now and then like presents will show up and you have to like go grab the presents. So it just becomes really hard to like figure out what's important at what time. And yeah, and so you're just you're all working together, control a ship to go save these like little bunny aliens. And it's a lot of fun, but you really need to have at least 3 people, I think, to have any kind of real success. Because
Yes.
it is, unless you have like 2 really focused players who are very good at multitasking, but it's hard. It's hard to do.
You always have to be moving, so the other person has to be playing at least 2 other things.
Yeah, and it becomes hard, and you have to be. You're probably going to take a lot of damage and stuff. Like you're never going to have like an easy. You could finish levels for sure, but it'll be close. Like you'll have taken a lot of damage, or you won't have saved everyone and stuff like that. But it is really fun. I don't know what other.
So my favorite video game of all time just happens to be couch co-op. And that's River City Ransom. We played that one together. And a lot of like beat 'em ups are couch co-op games.
Yeah.
Especially the retro games. So like River City Ransom we played. Double Dragon was infamous because of the lack of couch co-op for the NES.
Oh really?
When the game is called Double Dragon.
Oh yeah.
Like the whole thing about that game, the reason why it's good is because you can play 2-player.
Yeah, and
the same time.
I think though the difference with those like
But the
service-
Master System had 2 players at the same
Oh,
time.
I see. So that's probably why some people like Master System so much.
Those people would be so wrong.
They're silly, but
They're not. They're nonsense. They're nonsense people.
but
Are they nonsense people?
Is that what they are? Is that
Is
true?
that what they are? Is that true though?
But the thing with the beat 'em up multiplayer is that it's no different for player 1 than it is for player 2, right? Like it's just 2 people doing the same thing instead of 1. And I feel like I'm more compelled. Like, and I liked River City Ransom a lot, but I know that I liked it a lot because I was playing with Myles. He loves that game and he's better at it than I am. So like if I die a million times, we don't have to start over again or whatever. Like Myles can get by. I'm not going to hold him back too much or whatever. We did a playthrough actually back when we used to make video game or videos on our YouTube channel. And there was some kind of like funny glitch, like when we were fighting the twins. Do you remember this? We were fighting the twins and one of them got stuck.
Oh yeah, they got stuck in a wall.
And you were just like, oh man, these guys are really hard to fight. But then one of them, I got sandwiched between me and a wall, and Myles is like, if you can just keep punching him without him being able to escape the wall. And so I just like mashed the button and punched him, and he could just never get out. And then we just beat it. And I was like, oh my God.
And for anyone who's ever played River City Ransom, you know that the twins are harder than the last boss. So you could deal with Slick if you could just beat those twins.
Oh, is he harder than the
twins? Because there's two of them. Generally, they're harder, right?
Yeah.
It's like two that are just as strong as Slick.
Yeah, I like that
Nice.
game a lot. I like that one. It was pretty fun.
And then, of course, all of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle arcade-style games, all those beat
Right.
'em up. So, like, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game for the Nintendo, and then Turtles in Time and Hyperstone Heist for the Super Nintendo and the Genesis.
And, racing games like Mario Kart. And
But that's not co-op.
yeah, it is.
Mario Kart's not co-op. You're racing against each other.
Oh, it's not co-op. Right. Couch co-op. We're not even talking about those games. We're talking about Couch co-op.
Couch co-op.
Chris, this is called
Oh.
Flock Talk. We do a podcast
No.
about video games once a month.
Keep it professional.
Well, we started playing A Way Out, and that's a different kind of. Have you heard of A Way Out? It's the prison escape game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's this really charming Frenchman who has made this game.
Is he French?
I don't know if you've seen him on the internet swearing a lot at the video game awards, but he made a game.
And he
Oh.
did Brothers.
He did Brothers.
Right.
And then this
Brothers is
one,
good.
yeah. So this, like, A Way Out was really fun. Like, it's kind of like a escape game type puzzle game where you, like, each person has to, like maybe the wrench is on your side, or I have to distract someone while you do something else. And so it does the split screen, but it's like a dynamic split screen that will favor the character who's doing the most action and stuff. Like, if I'm just like trying to distract someone, then my side of the screen will get smaller and Miles' side will get bigger because he's doing more stuff.
Like at one point, I put Kathryn in a laundry hamper, and I was trying to push her in a restricted area, and she could only see through this little like slot in the laundry hamper,
Uh-huh.
and it just covered like the bottom 10% of the screen.
Yeah, like the split screen just like pushed me all the way down to the bottom, and so you could just see what I could see in this, like the bottom bit of the screen while Miles was doing all of the work. That part was fun. But then there's
That
other
was
stuff
fun.
where
I liked
like
that part.
we had to climb up we were back to back kind of shimmying up an air vent, and you had to coordinate your movements with each other. Like,
Or you'd start to slide down the air vent.
yeah, so it'd be like it became almost like a 2-person rhythm game, right? Where it's like me, then you, then me, then you. But if you missed it, then you would slide and have to redo it and stuff. It was interesting. We're not finished the game, but I like it enough to want to finish it.
And you know what I liked about it? We're like 75% of the way through the game, I think. And we haven't had to use guns or shoot people or fight people, really.
yeah,
Like, other than that one jail fight.
A little bit less violence.
it kind of becomes more like stealth, and you've put sleeper holds on people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
no, it wasn't like stealth like Metal Gear, though.
No. You put a sleeper hold on someone.
It was the $1 million dream,
No.
Chris, and they didn't tap. So what can you do, right? Time
Well,
to go to
there you go.
sleep.
If they didn't tap.
Start counting the sheep, I
Well,
guess.
but it's because we didn't have weapons, so you kind of have to. You have to fight your way
At
a
one
little
point,
bit.
you have to go to a trailer park and play basketball with your son, who you haven't seen in a while.
Spoilers. Oh.
Spoilers.
That's the ending.
Sorry.
That's the ending of the
That's
game.
one
That's not
in.
the ending, but it is good, and I do want to finish it.
Can we just do one podcast where it's just we spoil everything?
Yes, but not this one. No spoilers, Chris.
No. We're doing it now.
No.
We're doing it now.
We haven't finished the game. We can't even
Darth
spoil it
Vader was
if we
his
want.
brother.
No, we won't.
Oh, spoilers.
I haven't seen it yet. I heard they're related in some way.
Oh, relations.
Chris, what's your favorite couch co-op game that isn't actually just a versus game?
Or Overcooked.
My favorite couch co-op game that isn't overcooked is Rayman Legends.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's so good. It's so much fun.
We've never played
When-
it. I've never
You
played
should
it.
play Rayman Legends. You guys would really dig it.
That's amazing because that's one of Pam's favorite games too.
Is it really?
Yeah. We have it on multiple systems.
Oh, we can play so many versions of it.
You should play Rayman
We
Legends.
have 2
It's so
copies
good.
on PS4.
Oh.
What?
We have a digital
What?
and physical.
Oh.
You have too much money, is what I'm
No,
hearing.
we have no money because we have two copies of
Rayman Legends.
Yeah, but that's like real estate. You're basically parking your money in diamonds.
Yeah, that
Basically-
digital copy is going to sell for so much.
Basically, anytime Pam says she likes a game, we buy 2 copies. Pam from Media Mavens.
Yeah,
Happy
Pam
Game.
likes it. We need to buy it. Oh,
And
that's one of her unpopular opinions.
every
She
time
likes it
Chris-
more than like Mario games, right?
Yeah, it's true. Every time Chris says he likes a game, we sell it.
Oh, that's true. That's true as
So
well.
we got to sell 1 copy of
There
Rayman.
you go. You got to sell a
But
copy.
we spit on it first.
Oh yeah,
We spit on it and then we sell it. We're like, patooey. Chris likes this.
she took it too far, Chris.
Sorry.
Oh,
She
sorry.
took it too far. I don't agree with that.
You know what? You're taking it too far. That's what you do. You step over the line,
There was-
Kathryn.
Oh, yeah, it's
You're
me.
a habitual line crosser.
I'm the real problem here.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can we think of other co-op?
Yeah, Donkey Kong Country.
Oh my
We had
goodness.
a lot of fun playing couch co-op Donkey Kong
Except
Country.
for the winter level, that one awful winter level with the snowstorm where I was ready to just like rip the machine out of the wall and be like, I'm done with this. And then Miles accidentally fell into a barrel that shot him to the end of the level. And then we were like, okay, move on. That was it.
And then there's all the couch co-op games where, like, mostly these are the retro games. The ones where first player takes a turn and then second player takes a turn. You know those
Yeah.
games? Those old 2-player games?
Yeah.
Where it's still just one player. And
Mhm.
I think that what Kathryn and I figured out is that we'd rather play those games as 1-player games and just pass the controller back and forth.
Yeah. Like the CC Prime game this month is Super Mario World.
Yeah.
And it's one of those games, right? Like we could play it as 2-player, and we probably will just to have the life bank, maybe
Yeah.
if we play it. But also we're going to be playing it with save states and stuff, so maybe
Yeah.
it's not even.
It's
that
actually
necessary.
pretty easy to bank a whole bunch of lives in Super Mario World.
Yeah.
Have you guys tried what's it called? Portal 2?
No.
It's supposed to be good. It's supposed to have the best one of the best ones.
Yeah, I feel like I should be playing Portal, but that I would probably like it. I like puzzle games.
Yeah, you'd love Portal.
I think we
But
should
Portal
play it.
2 is supposed to be the both of you playing the puzzles together.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Needs
we
two
will
people.
we will play it. We have it.
Yeah.
We have it ready to go. Yeah. And then there's all the unofficial couch co-op games. So like any adventure game you play with multiple people on the couch. Like remember when we couch co-opted Had a Full Boyfriend together?
That was fantastic. Is there anything better than pigeons and trying to figure out which pigeon you want to date?
You're not a pigeon though, you're a human.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
It's post-apocalyptic, right? Everyone else is
yeah,
turned
and you're
into
dating
pigeons.
pigeons. The
You
best part
survive
is
them?
like 80% of the way through you realize you're not a pigeon.
You're like, what am I doing? And then like, but also like, not just that you're dating a pigeon, but you're like really struggling to decide which pigeon to date, right? And then
Yeah.
you're like, I kind of have to cheat on one pigeon to date this other pigeon. And it's like, why? Like, what led me to this? Like, what happened in my life that this is my big decision that I have to make right now?
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen some of the other endings, but it took us so long to get to the 2 endings we got to.
It took us 2 hours.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
long. Oh my God.
What a game. That's way too much
I couldn't
time.
spend any more time with Chris. Are you kidding me?
I want to play more of Had a Full Boyfriend.
But I could see it like over different sessions, like, oh, let's go try that one again, because one playthrough isn't so bad. But I also
Yeah.
don't care so much to see more of that game.
Yeah, I'd rather just play a different
Right.
game.
Yeah, and I think like, you know, Day of the Tentacle is another one that we played through where
Mm.
it doesn't matter that only one person, it's really only a 1-person game. Like anyone who's in the room is playing along with you, right? And
Yeah,
and
it doesn't
helping
matter
out.
who's using the controller. There's
Right.
no like
You're just
dexterity
driving the
checks.
car. Everyone else is like enjoying the ride. But Until Dawn was another one that I really liked too, which is also just a single player game, but you're making decisions and you can involve other people. Like Myles and I played that whole game together. It was another one of our playthroughs, but there's something that's better. Like that game is a single player game that is better as a couch co-op single player game, right? Like it's so much more fun when someone's sitting beside you, helping you make decisions, getting scared at the same time, like kind of, especially when you're kind of deciding on something, like, should I go save this person or should I go left or right? And kind of
the time's ticking. Sometimes you have to choose in like 5 seconds.
Yeah. And then like, you're all kind of always questioning like, oh, I should have listened to you and gone left. Like how different would it be? And stuff like that, it like helps the game, right? It helps the game like with replayability. I do want to go play through that game because we did not end with a very ideal ending. Like we saved without killing everyone, we saved the least number of people, right? So I do like that game enough that I would want to go and try to get some different outcomes. And it was really fun to be sitting on the couch and playing.
Sounds like just a Robert Frost poem, Kathryn.
Yes, The Road Not Taken. Is that something?
Oh, look at you!
Yeah, I'm the smart.
See, this is the value added of this podcast. We not only talk about video games, but we can come up with all kinds of names of poetry.
Myles thought that you were talking about
Mr. Freeze.
The Yeti in the Rudolph like movie or something. No,
he thought that I was talking about the Yeti in Ski Free.
What?
I don't even know what that is.
There's a Yeti that comes out in Ski Free. Remember Ski Free?
What is Ski Free?
Oh, Ski Free.
Another beautiful couch co-op game where only one person plays and everyone else watches.
Okay, he thought that was that Yeti that he's never heard of.
So
this is really taking a turn.
One couch co-op game that I'm really looking forward to. We're gonna change it up. Game that's not even out yet.
Most anticipated. Now that Overcooked 2's come out.
It's the new Wolfenstein.
You missed it, Chris. It was a big announcement.
No, Hype Train. Hype Train.
And that game is Wolfenstein 2.
3.
4. Wolfenstein 3. Takes place in the 80s. I think it's called Youngblood. And
are you a hockey player? Are you a Rob Lowe hockey player and Patrick Swayze's like your mentor?
Nice.
No, you can be Keanu Reeves, who's a Frenchman.
Oh yeah, he's such a bad Frenchman. He's such a terrible Quebecois accent.
In Youngblood.
Guys, I really love the movie Youngblood, so I probably
This is not going to be like that at all.
Oh, okay.
Instead, it takes place in the 80s, in Nazi-ruled 80s, where
the Nazis ruled the 80s.
They do.
When the Nazis ruled the 80s.
And you play BJ Blazkowicz's two daughters.
They're twins?
They're twins. They look like the Shining girls.
Oh, yeah.
And it's dual screen couch co-op FPS.
I'm a little nervous about it, though, because I've never played a Wolfenstein. I've watched Myles play the Wolfensteins. I'm not very good at FPSs, though, so I worry about
You're going to have to get good.
I worry about something like that seems a little bit skill-based. Like, you need to have a little bit of skill to be able to get through
I'm not playing it by myself. If Wolfenstein's got couch co-op...
Get good.
Shut up.
You're gonna have to get good.
All right.
Time to get good.
Time to get good.
Time to get good.
Get good.
Get it.
Are you guys having strokes? Like, what is happening? All right, so... I do play a little bit of Overwatch, and I'm really bad at it, but I feel like I'm better at them than I would have been had I not played a little bit of Overwatch. But Myles has seen me play Overwatch. He knows how bad I am, so... You're
fine. You're fine at Overwatch. I feel like you gotta play through Call of Duty Black Ops 3 from...
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good. The
from
story...
the beginning.
And we've come full circle.
I have to play Call of Duty Black Ops 1?
No, you gotta,
okay.
You gotta,
you gotta play all of them. You gotta play all the Call of Duties.
You saw me try to play Halo. I was so bad at that.
Call of Duty is...
Hello.
Hello
is, you know what? It's underrated, I think. Hello.
Okay.
You guys talking about Hollow?
You guys talking about that game? Hello?
I would talk about
Hello.
Halo Halo, which is like a really delicious, like Vietnamese iced dessert.
With
This is,
condensed milk,
Condensed milk,
We're just right
shaved
off the rails,
ice,
bro.
red bean.
and jellies
you
and
guys
stuff. Oh, so
know
good.
That I'm 20 hours into Octopath
Of
Traveler.
course we don't know that. You never tell us
I
anything.
thought you finished the game. You told me when we were in Chicago. We were in Chicago, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Check out last episode. We recorded it live in Chicago. But you told me you finished Octopath Traveler on your way home.
No, I am 20 hours in, and it's not bad.
Wow.
I don't care
Glowing
about
reviews from Chris.
60% of the story, but I really like the fighting. The fighting part's really good.
Oh, yeah?
I really like the look of it.
Yeah.
I only ever played the demo, the first demo, and I just really liked the way it looked. Like I found it, like I was like, this is a game I could stare at for 80 hours. How long does it take?
I think probably I'm zeroing in on about halfway through the game, so probably 50 hours.
Okay.
I play it on the subway in the morning, so another few weeks and I should have it close to done or have decided that there's nothing else to see.
Chris, I really dream that you're going to finish this one. Like, this is my biggest dream. My birthday's
I don't
also
know.
coming up, and for my birthday, I'd like to hear that you finished Octopath.
No, because Dead Cells also came out, so I want to play Dead Cells.
He won't even promise me that.
He won't
No,
even.
I can't.
I can't believe this.
Dead Cells came out. I want to play Dead Cells.
What is Dead Cells?
Dead Cells is on the Switch. It's like a Metroidvania that's supposed to be amazing.
I've never
Everyone's
played
talking about Dead
Metroid.
Cells.
Everyone's talking about Dead Cells.
And what is a Metroid?
It's a roguelike.
Oh, people hate those.
Yeah, but apparently this is a
People
good.
love this one.
It is a good roguelike. Like Rogue Legacy.
Yeah.
Remember when we played that?
Oh, if it's like Rogue Legacy, I'm on board.
Catherine destroyed Rogue Legacy.
I never did. I was so bad at it, but I loved playing it, and I would
You
play
did
it.
destroy it. You beat the game multiple times.
Oh, I beat the game multiple times. I forgot that. I did. You're right. I did beat it. But that's only because, I could only do it once I leveled everything up as high as it could go, essentially.
So what? That's the game.
And then I could beat the
That's
bosses.
like every RPG ever.
Also, I watched a lot of Let's Plays of it, and I watched Myles beat it. So part of the thing that I'm not good at myself is figuring out boss patterns and stuff like that, because I just never ever played games where that was a thing. And so I don't know how
like every Nintendo.
I never played Nintendo, so that's the kind of thing where I'm the definition of insane, is it? Where you try the same thing over and over again, hoping for a different result. That's me. I'm I don't understand. I ran up and hit it in the eye 10 times and it killed me every time. And then Myles would be like, why don't you jump? And then I'm like, oh, if I jump, I don't die.
What I would love to see is Kathryn on her birthday start Bloodborne or Dark Souls and get really into it. That's what I would.
On her birthday. Since when do you get to make birthday wishes for Catherine?
Making this is your new birthday wish.
I'm going to start Bloodborne, or what, I don't know which one to start with. Which one do I start with?
Start with Bloodborne.
Start with Bloodborne? That sounds crazy, but
yeah. Start with Bloodborne.
I will start Bloodborne the minute you show me with proof that you finished Octopath Traveler.
Fine. Done.
The gauntlet has been thrown down,
there
folks.
Go,
You've
folks.
heard
This
it
is
here
it.
first. A real slobber-knocker. It's going to be happening tonight.
I'm going to finish a 50-hour game just so
I have to play.
Catherine
I mean,
has to play.
You're
I don't
making
have
a
to-
lot of promises. There's this promise you have to play a Zelda game. Remember that?
I dug a Link Between Worlds out of wherever its hiding place, so I have it ready
you
to
should totally
go.
play that too. But you have to play it and beat the first boss.
Okay, I
Yeah,
can
you
do
can
it.
play it for 10 minutes and then be like, I hate this. No, you gotta beat the first boss.
I'm gonna watch a lot of videos and learn how to do it.
Catherine streams Bloodborne. Anybody?
No.
Anybody interested?
No,
Oh,
I'm just
no.
going to plant that
I will-
seed.
Yes.
I'll just plant that
We
seed.
don't stream.
I'll do the commentary the entire time. You don't have to talk.
Oh.
All you have to do is play Bloodborne.
No,
Okay, you know what you call it? You call it Song of Blood.
no.
Oh, that's
No.
good because your last name.
Isn't that
That's
good?
my last name. Now I can't go into hiding.
Your plan is ruined. Okay, that's it for our couch co-op.
Oh yeah, man, we went off the rails.
Do you think that was also our odds and ends? It kind of feels like that was also like our odds and ends.
I do have one. Maybe Chris should tee it up for us.
Odds and ends.
I just want to quickly say, because I feel like now it's my thing is recommending podcasts, and I just want to talk about one that, I mean, it's been around for a while and I've only just found it, but it's called Dead Pilots Society. Chris, you've been to those Jason Reitman live reads with us, right? And
Yes.
like, there's something very compelling about seeing actors, cold reading for the first time in a group a script that no one's ever seen, right?
Yes.
And so Dead Pilot Society is kind of the same thing. It's people who actually write episodes of television shows that get bought by studios but never get made. And so it kind of breathes lives into these things. So
cool.
Yeah, and so like Jenji Kohan has written one. She's the showrunner for Weeds and Orange is the New Black. And she's like executive producer on Glow.
Who does the roundtable voice acting?
It's a whole bunch of like comedians or like character actors or improv actors. And like, so one of the first ones I listened to was called Formosa, and I think that's the one that was written by Tom Lennon. When he talks about it, it was like kind of this gritty 50s Hollywood style movie. So the idea is it's kind of like a combination, like a mix between Breaking Bad and LA Confidential, right? So it's like these brothers who were making porn movies in the 50s, but they want to make a legit movie, and they try to get funding to make a movie, but it falls through. And so they go to a Mexican coyote. So they basically take money from, I don't know, like a gang. Yeah, cartel, that's what it is. And it just turns like really dark, and it becomes like a murder mystery and stuff like that. But the live read, the two brothers are played by Paul F. Tompkins and Ben Schwartz, who like are both people who I love.
Those are like your two favorite.
They're like my two favorite people.
Okay, this is a little slanted in Kathryn's favor. I feel like it might not be for everybody, but like her two favorite people.
I don't know. I looked this up. There's only 28 episodes, and that Rob Schraub one looks really good.
So it always starts with an interview with the person who wrote the episode, and like they kind of tell the story of like what happened to it, like how far it got in the process, and like it's a lot of insight into like how difficult it is. Like studios will buy every year like 100 pilots, but they'll only make 10, and that's still
out
only
of the 10, only like one
or two might actually become shows, right?
Yeah.
And so all of these ones are ones that never even made it to a table read. And so for these people who spend months and months writing these pilot episodes, and then for whatever reason it just doesn't happen. And so it like some of these are like Formosa was written 4 or 5 years ago, and they talk about it now, just saying like this might even breathe life into the show again, because TV is so different now. There's so many more outlets. If you just listen to Formosa, because I was listening to it going like, I want to see this show, and it's not too dark. Like it's no darker than Breaking Bad or True Detective or something like that, right? So like I feel like there is a life for these, like a potential new life for these shows in the current state of television being like Netflix originals or whatever, right? So some of these are really good. Like they're not all great, but
the people who wrote the pilot for Stranger Things were shopping that thing around for almost 10 years before it got picked up.
Yeah, and like 10 years ago, no one would touch it, right? Like it's not the kind of thing, but now it's cool to be a nerd and into D&D and like into sci-fi and fantasy and stuff like that, right? So we're super cool is all I'm trying to say. We're really cool people who like really cool things.
Great. I can't wait to...
Yeah. The podcast sounds good.
I just can imagine that it feels good for the people who wrote it too, to like hear people laughing at these jokes that no one would ever hear otherwise, right? Like anyway, I highly recommend it. I've been doing a lot of like data entry style work. So I just can toss on an episode and listen to it, and it's like I'm watching or listening to a TV show. So it's good.
Must be nice. Chris, any odds and ends?
Nah.
I got none either. Let's wrap this thing up. For Chris and Kathryn, I'm Myles. Thank you all so much for listening. We really appreciate you. Check out TeePublic and the Cartridge Club, which hosts our content And it's got tons of other content by like-minded creators.
Come to the forums. Talk to us in the forums.
CartridgeClub.org.
And listen to Flock Talk RPG if you haven't done that already.
Yeah, there's a side project, Flock Talk RPG, and we are working on the next season kind of it. So
Well, that's still not going to be out until like October.
it's going to be a while, but we are working on it.
But in the meantime, catch up on the first season. It's good.
Don't boss our listeners.
Nah. You know what? We give you so much. And the least you could do is listen to a thing.
Or share our content, like the podcast and everything like that.
Oh, goodness. And oh, my goodness. Would it hurt any of you to share our stuff?
You know, Chris, you've never shared any of our stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't shared this. Oh, but I'm not on any social media.
So if you want to contact Chris, he's at Chris Gerardo on Twitter.
Yeah, share my stuff with me. I will like a tweet.
And Kathryn's at
@K_song.
And I'm at Flock of Nerds or at Milo the Great One.
We've never said our Twitter handle.
Might as well.
No, we've never done anything like this.
So check us out on there and contact us on the social media, and we'll see you next month. Thanks, everybody. Bye.